birth of Parikshit Maharaj. So then, in relation to describe the activities of Parikshit Maharaj, so the further chapters of Bhagavatam Canto 1 will talk about many other subsequent events. Now slowly we'll come to know about it. So today we'll be starting from chapter 13, wherein we'll discuss about Dhritarashtra quits home. Narada Muni explained the disappearance of Dhritarashtra. They are the two main themes of this chapter. So we'll be discussing about it. The 13th chapter describes the arrival of Vidura. Dhritarashtra leaving the palace on the instruction of Vidura and Narada's instructions to allay the lamentation of Yudhishthira. So these are the various sections of this chapter. So Vidura leaves home during the battle of Mahabharata. Then after traveling all over different pilgrimage places, he comes back after 35 years. After coming back to Hastinapur, he instructs Dhritarashtra. And then following those instructions of Vidura, Dhritarashtra leaves home. So when he leaves home, Yudhishthira Maharaj becomes very much unhappy. So Narada Muni comes and pacifies him. So these are the different sections of this chapter. So why these things are mentioned? Just in order to describe the coronation of Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj's birth and growth were described in the previous chapters. So after growth, for him to perform any activities as a king, he need to become the king. So under what circumstances he became the king? That is described in these subsequent chapters. So in order to describe the coronation of the Parikshit Maharaj, all these chapters are beginning now. Just as in order to describe the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, the story of Ashwatthama, how Ashwatthama is being punished in the 7th chapter, then how Uttara was saved by Lord Krishna, and then how Kunti Maharaj expressed her gratitude, and how Yudhishthir requested Yudhishthir Maharaj, Lord Krishna, to stay for some time. Then Lord Krishna takes Yudhishthir to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Bhishma pacifies Yudhishthir Maharaj and requests him to become the king and lead the people. Then, by the way, Krishna leaves Hastinapur, enters Dwaraka, and then he talks about the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, the Jatakarma ceremony performed by Yudhishthir Maharaj in the presence of all the Brahmanas, and then the Brahmanas describing the forecast, what Parikshit Maharaj is going to do in the future. All those things have been presented in the previous chapters. That is all just to tell about the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. Now, in order to describe the coronation and becoming king, and eventually what all the activities he will perform, his coronation will be described in the next 3 chapters. So this is a long, lengthy chapter. About 60 verses are there. So here you can see the chapter breakup. The first 5 verses, Vidura returns from pilgrimage. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj receives him and makes all the proper arrangements so that he can feel comfortable. And then Vidura instructs Dhritarashtra very heavily, severely. Today we'll discuss some of the instructions. And then following those instructions, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari follow after Vidura and go to Himalayas. Then understanding that they are left uninformed, Yudhishthira Maharaj laments severely. And Narada Muni comes and pacifies Yudhishthira Maharaj. And then Narada Muni also tells, so if at all you want to go to Himalayas and bring them back, don't go. Because within 5 days, they are going to leave their bodies. So there is no point in going to that place. So like that, this entire chapter goes on very dramatically. So here, one interesting information is that, so just like in order to describe the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, the various events that have happened in the past have been presented. Now, in this chapter, in order to describe the activities of Parikshit Maharaj is supposed to become the king. But currently, Pandavas are ruling. So only unless until Pandavas renounce, Parikshit Maharaj cannot become the king. So Pandavas cannot renounce unless until Krishna departs. So for that, all the events are mentioned. Now, hearing that Krishna already departed, Vidura comes home, preaches very heavily Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra leaves home. Gandhari follows. Vidura also leaves home. And Yudhishthira laments. Narada Muni comes and tells, so forget about them. They are gone. They are going for good only. So stay as long as Narada Muni already knew that Lord Krishna departed. but it does not tell. So just follow the mission of the Lord. Then immediately after Narada Muni left, Yudhishthira Maharaj sends Arjuna to Dwarka. And there in Dwaraka, Arjuna kind of becomes aghast, understanding that everyone went to Prabhas, there everyone died, killing each other. He performs all the final rites, then he kind of takes the queens of Krishna, the 6,100 queens of Krishna to Hastinapur. On the way, Krishna himself comes as a cowherd boy. Then they fight with Arjuna. Arjuna was defeated and they were all taken back to Mathura. And Arjuna comes and expresses his grief to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira understands, okay, Krishna left. There is no point for us to continue here anymore. Immediately they make Parikshit Maharaj the next king and they also leave. So all these things are described in the upcoming 3 chapters. So that is the subject matter for the upcoming chapters. Hare Krishna, those devotees who are not speaking, kindly speak, keep yourself in mute. So now here Sutta Goswami continuing the narration from the previous chapter. Then he says that in the previous chapter he said that Parikshit was born, his birth ceremony is performed, his astrological chart is read, and eventually in due course of time, just like moon grows day by day, like small arc from the day of Amavasya to all the way up to Purnami, it becomes full moon. Like that over the 35 years period, he grew up to youth. Now Parikshit Maharaj is about 35 years. 35 years of the rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj is completed. Now the condition is what is explained in this chapter. Viduras tirtha yatrayam maitreyad atmano gatim jnatvagad dasti puram taya vapta vivistita.
Sutta Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastinapura. He became as well versed in the subject as he said.
So in this chapter, many things we are going to discuss. So kindly pay attention. This is one of the important chapters, like any other chapters of this Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami says, having learned about Krishna, who is the goal of the Jiva, Vidura's Tirtha Yatrayam, during his Tirtha Yatra, during his pilgrimage, Maitreyad, from Maitreya, Vidura had understood what? Jnatva Atmano Gatim. Maitreya had understood Atmano Gatim. What is supposed to be the ultimate destiny or ultimate goal of a living entity, a Jiva. Having understood that from Maitreya, Agad Astinapuram. He had returned to Astinapuram. Why did he return to Astinapur? Taya Avapta Vivistita. He had something important to do in his life. The purpose of his life, one thing is still remaining. He appeared to give good counsel to the ruler of this world. He was trying to give good counsel all these years. But at one point of time, there was no one ready to take his good counsel. So he left Hastinapur. He was traveling on a pilgrimage for many years. And having heard from Maitreya Muni, you will understand this very nicely from 4th canto. At the end of the 4th canto, why did he came back? Maybe next verse we will discuss about it. He suddenly comes back to Hastinapur because he remembered that I need to do one more important thing left in my life. For that only comes back. So Astinapuram, Agad Astinapuram, Taya Avapta Vyavasthitam. Hastinapur with a desire to teach that. So whatever he had learned, he who had attained all that he desired by that knowledge, and in order for the same thing to be attained by his elder brother, he came back. He returned only just because to help his elder brother, whom he was helping from the very beginning of his life. At one point of time, because of the influence of Duryodhana, his brother was not at all listening to him. So he gave up. But now it's the time. If not now, he cannot do anymore. So that is the reason. Yavata kritavan prashnan kshatta kaushara vagrata jataika bhaktir govinde Tepyaschopararamaha.
After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni.
This is also about the past. Having asked sufficient questions to Maitreya, Vidura ceased asking any more when he heard about pure devotion to Lord Govinda. If you see in the later cantos, when we come to third canto, we'll understand that Vidura poses hundreds of questions to Maitreya. So Maitreya was discussing one after the other. He is answering all the answers one after the other. But at one point of time, he says, "My dear sir, thank you very much. What you have spoken, that is enough for me. I'm going back." He did not listen to the answers of all his questions. The reason is, Yavata Kritavan Prashnan Shatta Kaushara Vagrata Jata Ekabhaktir Govinde. He posed so many questions, but he stopped posing any more questions when he got the understanding of Eka Bhakti Govinde, the one-pointed bhakti towards Lord Govinda. When he understood that, he returned. That's all. Enough. He said, enough is enough. My dear sir, enough is enough. I don't want to ask any more. Thank you very much. As soon as he heard about the pure devotion to Lord Govinda, he ceased asking any more questions. He said, thank you, and I'm returning. That's it. He gave up questioning means he did not have any more questions, or he did not have any more desires to hear further, because all other questions are useless once bhakti has appeared. Once pure bhakti manifests in the heart of a seeker, there is no point in asking so many other questions. He stopped asking any more questions. Actually, in one sense, whatever questions he asked at the beginning of third canto, the answer for all those questions is the entire Bhagavatam. But he returns from Haridwar to Hastinapur at the end of the fourth canto itself. He just hears third canto and fourth canto and returns home. But the answer continued. The Sukadeva Goswami answers all his questions to Parikshit Maharaj for the rest of the Bhagavatam. 5th canto, 6th canto, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Almost 8 cantos were spoken later on. But after understanding the essence is bhakti, how it should be practiced, what is the ultimate goal of that bhakti, he returned home. So it is like that.
He was also present during that time, Prabhuji.
Which time?
Sutta Goswami and this conversation time he was present.
No, he was not present. That happened much later.
That happened. So because you told me that till fourth canto he heard.
That means whatever narration there. See, Maitreya spoke to Vidura. The same thing was repeated by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. And the same thing is repeated by Sutta Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. And the same thing we are repeating now. Same thing which we have heard a couple of years back in Vidyapit. One of our teachers spoke to us. So it is keep happening again and again. In the future also somebody else speak to somebody else. So it's like that. So this is the verse at the end of the fourth canto. Maitreya, not Maitreya, Vidura is saying to Maitreya, Soyam Adya Mahayogin Bhavata Kurunatmana Darshitas Tamasa Paro Yatra Kinchana Gohari. So, O great yogi, being most merciful, you have today shown me the world beyond the ocean of samsara, where Lord attains his devotee and the devotee attains the Lord. Kindly read through the verses. Bhavata Karunatmana, out of your causeless mercy. What did he do? What did Maitreya do? Adya, today. Darshitas Tamasa Paro. You have shown me that spiritual world which is beyond material existence. Tamasa means material world. Paro means outside of the material existence is spiritual world. And what is the special about that? Yatra Akinchana Gohari, where Lord receives his devotees and the devotees will receive the Lord in person, not in Pratima form. This is the greatness of the spiritual world. About that spiritual world, Maitreya spoke to Vidura in the third and fourth cantos. About the path that takes one to that spiritual world was being described in third and fourth cantos. Having understood both, how to go to spiritual world and what is spiritual world, what happened in the spiritual world, he returned. Enough, this is enough. I don't want to listen anymore. So he came back. So,
he took only essence of that.
no, along with the details necessary for that. He also heard sufficiently the whole third canto which lasts for 33 chapters, which fourth canto which lasts for 31 chapters. He heard enough. So he could continue to listen, but he has something important to do now. That's why he returned. Why? Because if you remember, what are the pastimes that are there in the third canto and fourth canto? What are the different pastimes that are there in the third canto and fourth canto?
Devamti and
Devahuti and Kapila Muni conversation.
Okay, what is so special about that pastime?
regarding Bhakti only, something.
Teaching some.
In relation to this particular line, where the Lord attends his devotees and devotee attend the Lord. In relation to that, and also he shown me the world beyond the ocean of samsara. In relation to this particular sentence, Darshita Tamasa Paro Ya Yatra Akinchana Gohari. In relation to that, what is the special of Devoti and Kapila and Kardama? They also immediately where he left. You should say they went to spiritual world, following the instructions of Lord Kapila. Kardama, following the instructions of Lord Kapila, went to spiritual world. Devahuti, following the instructions of Lord Kapila, went to spiritual world. He heard about two people. Okay. In the fourth canto, he will hear about Dhruva Maharaj, following the instructions of Narada Muni, went to abode of Lord Vishnu. Yes. And Anga Maharaj also went to spiritual world, following the instructions of spiritual master. Prithu Maharaj also went to spiritual world, following the instructions of four Kumaras. Prachinabari also went to spiritual world, following the instructions of Narada Muni. Prachetas also went to spiritual world, following the instructions of Lord Shiva and Narada Muni. So इतना लोग जा रहे वापस. So मेरा भाई उधर सड़ रहा है. Are you getting? This is the point. Especially he took the inspiration from Prachina Barhi's pastime. Prachina Barhi also somewhat like this only, like Dhritarashtra. Prachina Barhi was attracted to or become attached to performing karmakanda rituals one after the other. He was performing so many rituals, the entire kingdom is spread with kusha grass. That's why he got the name Prachina Bari. His actual name is Barishat. Prachina means for performing any auspicious ceremony, one need to sit on the kusha grass mat with the tips pointed towards east. Prachina means east. So the tips should be towards east and the root portion should be towards the west. And person should sit on the mat facing towards the north. Are you getting? This is east, this is west, this is north, this is south. So for example, this is the mat, the kusha grass mat made with all the kusha grass. The kusha grass root side will be this side, the tip side, tail will be this side. The mat should be made like placed like this, and person should be sitting here to facing towards north. This is called proper way of sitting. Any auspicious ceremony should be performed like this. Generally, either sitting towards the east or sitting towards the north. Even our reading also it said that we should read facing towards the east or facing towards north. That is according to Vastu. Our entrance of the home also should be supposed to be either towards east or towards the north. It is like that. And our sleeping also like that. Which direction we are supposed to avoid keeping our head in the night time? South. We should avoid keeping our head towards south. North. We should avoid keeping our head towards north. The best thing is keep our head towards south. Or some people say to the east or to the west. But I say that one is to the south, one is to the west. Why? Because if you are keeping your head to the south, as soon as you get up in the morning, which direction you see? When you see the northern direction, one should contemplate. North is meant for going back to Godhead. Dharmartha Kama Moksha. Moksha is indicating north. Parak Disham Uttarat. We'll see later in the chapter. Those people in the past, after renouncing all the worldly activities, household activities, they take to renunciation and they travel towards north. That is what is expected. North means going back only, not coming back again. People generally go to Himalayas. Nowadays we make return ticket and go to Himalayas and come back. But actually, when somebody goes to Himalayas, one should go there without return ticket. That's all. Gone means gone. They will not return again. Going to north means going back to Godhead. The north indicates moksha. So as soon as we get up early in the morning, looking at north, we should pray. So my dear Lord, somehow or other you have given me one more day. We cannot guarantee that I have one more year or one more decade or one more century. At least we can have the hope that at least today I have some more time in my life left. We don't know when death can come. But at least we are hopeful as soon as we get up in the morning. Okay, I have got one more day. Let me use this one day to move towards attainment of perfection, moksha, or going back to Godhead. That should be the prayer of all of us as soon as we get up in the morning, facing toward the north. If at all we are keeping our head toward the west, as soon as we get up in the morning, we see east. East is the direction of the sun rising. So we see the sun is about to rise. Then we should pray to sun. Sun is representative of the Guru, who is the teacher of the scriptural knowledge. He is the teacher of Hanumanji. Ramayana mein bataya na? So he is actually the teacher. Suryanarayana is the teacher of all the teachers in terms of Vedic literature. So we should pray to sun god. So my dear Lord, you are the teacher of everyone. Please help me that this entire day let me engage in acquiring knowledge that will be necessary for me to go back home back to Godhead. That should be the prayer. In others say, even the west also direction of sun only. In the morning we see sun, in the east, in the evening we see west. So both are connected to sun. Even if we sleep, keeping our head in the eastern direction, when you get up, we see in the west. That is also direction of sun only. Again, we have to pray to sun. So my dear sun god, please help me attain the necessary knowledge, which will take me back home back to Godhead. So that is the understanding. So even the simple act of sleeping, even eating also, when we sit for eating, it is recommended that either we are supposed to sit facing north or east for eating. We are never supposed to sit facing towards south. Then now the next thing is that why we are not supposed to keep our head on the north side? When we get up, we see the direction of south is the direction of who will go to Yamaloka? Sinners. If at all we see the south early in the morning, our mind gets inspiration to perform sinful activities, which eventually will take us to hellish planets. That's why the people in the past, even the current also, they never ever make a mistake of keeping the head towards north while sleeping. This Bhishma Deva will tell to Yudhishthira in the Mahabharata. In that Anushasana Parva, in the Mahabharata, this is actually told by Bhishma Deva to Yudhishthira Maharaj. It is from Mahabharata. I mean, see, when Vedic science is so appropriate, very proper. It is not some, it's casually they said, no problem, anywhere you can sit. Not like that. Everything has a reason behind it, a purpose behind it. Not simply just like that.
Nowadays, the scientific community also they are telling you it is like and not when it's a true magnet will be there, then if the reflection, then energy will be lost. So in this
Everyone cannot understand magnetic force, the magnetic force and all. Any layman in India, whoever is born, will understand this concept. North, south, north means Himalayas meant for moksha. Haridwar वगैरह हम बोलते हैं ना. So any layman can understand, any uneducated person can understand. Scientific phenomena, okay, that may be very great. Only great people like you, great scientists like you can understand. Others, so illiterate people like us will not understand. So it's like that. So they also talk about blood circulation. From the engineering background, they may say North Pole, South Pole. From the medical background, they say that North is above. If you keep the head towards the south, the head will be downward. So the blood will go down. Blood will be, normally we stand, head is above. Pumping requires a lot of force for the heart. But not night time when you sleep, the heartbeat will be a little slower. But by the force of gravity, only blood goes to the head, like that they say. Had it sometime? हम तो है ही सुना था.
most of the heart attack happens in if we sleep.
Little louder, Prabhuji, so that others will hear.
If we sleep with our head on south, most of the heart attack will happen in the morning.
Head on south? No, head on north. North is above. The blood cannot go upward in the night time when heart is beating slow. That's why they get. Even the doctors also suggest that you should keep your head on the south, downside direction, so that your blood circulation will be normal. Of course, there are so many scientific reasons, but our understanding of scriptures is this. It is directly connected to our purpose of life, not any other things in the life.
Which is the best direction to sleep in?
Except north. All the three are okay. Generally, they say preferable is south and east. South and east. West is also okay. Not so
Hare
bad.
Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I don't know. Many details I don't know. Forget about sannyasis. People, let us talk about all of us.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Can I put some 2 bit of my knowledge on this?
Yeah, you can speak, but if you possible, can you speak a little louder or come close to microphone so that everyone get benefited?
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear me now
Yes,
clearly?
yes. Yeah.
So, from my study, actually, Vastu Shastra says that it is preferable to keep the head on the south because the earth is like a huge magnet.
Hmm.
So, when we align ourselves with the magnetic field of the earth while sleeping, because our blood also contains iron, which also gets magnetized. So, it helps to rejuvenate our body during the night time when we are resting, and at when we are resting, the blood flow to the brain also should be reduced for a restful sleep. So that is the reason it is recommended that we sleep with our head on the south side. And for other reasons, like you said, that when we wake up we sit facing the north.
Hmm.
So we should pray for that also, that we are getting another day to perform our services.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. एसी चालू करो उसमें माता जी उधर आपका बैक के नीचे रिमोट है क्या व्हाइट वाला Are you feeling some AC is there? You are cold. You cannot be.
Noise is coming.
AC चालू करो ना उसमें मोड में जाओ चल रहा है ना ओके थोड़ा कम करो ना तो 18 की
इसका डिस्प्ले नहीं है
तो forget it you see your display So basically the understanding is that having understood the purpose of life, having heard some of the examples of different personalities, just we have mentioned Devahuti, Kardama, Dhruva, Aprutu, Anga, and then Prachina Berhi, Prachetas, then Vidura said, thank you sir, enough is enough. I have one important duty to perform now. I am going home. Then he returned back. So that was the condition. Leaving the conversation from with Maitreya, Vidura comes to Astinapur. Now, how did he received in Astinapur? How did the Pandavas received him in Astinapur? That is mentioned in the.
First, you have EVS book and copy, music, Marathi, language, literature, and
disturbance is there.
Tam bandhum agatam drishtva dharmaputra sahanuja tatarashto yustucha suta sharadvata prita Gandhari Draupadi Brahman Subhadra Chottara Kripi Anyascha Jamaya Pandor Jnataya Susuta Pratyujjagmu Praharshena Pranam Tanva Ivagatam Abhisangamya Vidivat Parishvanga Abhivadanai.
When he sought to return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his younger brother Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripa, many other wives of Kauravas, and others in great delight. So appeared they had regained their consciousness after a long period. With great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces.
Yeah. See the explanation here. Tam bandhum agatam drishtva. So all the Astinapur Vasis, just by looking at Vidura, they felt that the closest relative had returned. Seeing that their intimate friend had returned, Yudhishthira and his brothers, Dharmaputra is Yudhishthira, Saha Anuja along with his brothers. And then Dhritarashtra used to the one, one and only one son who remained from Dhritarashtra's hundreds of sons. Dhritarashtra had 100 direct sons through Gandhari, and he had Yudhishthira, one more son through some maid servant. And few more sons are there, but their names are not mentioned. But they all died in the battle. Only Yudhishthira was remaining. So he is there. Suta is Sanjaya, who is the personal assistant of Dhritarashtra. Sharadvata is Krupacharya. Pruta, Mother Kunti. Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Krupi. Krupi is the wife of Dronacharya, sister of Krupacharya. Anyascha and all others whose names are not mentioned here. Jamaya along with their wives. Atmajaya, Sutagara, we hear many times. Jaya means wife, or Jama also means wife. Pandor, the Pandavas relatives, etc. Jnataya, Sutascha, Striya, along with their sons and along with their wives and etc. Everyone came out of the palace to receive Vidura. That important thing is that Pratyujagmu Praharshena Pranam Tanva Ivagata. All these years without
10,
Vidura,
20, 30, 40, 50. 50 झाले, 51, 52,
who is this?
53,
Hare Krishna, who is that?
There is some
54.
disturbance.
Yeah.
There is some
Maithili Rani
disturbance.
Mataji, please. You kindly mute.
Prabhuji, it's not me. No, it's not me. It's not from my side.
Okay, then who is that? Pratyujagmur Praharshena Pranam Tanva Iva Agatam. Tanva means Tanu, our body. Prana means our life air, breathing air. Without breathing, what is the state of the body?
Dead.
Without breathing, the state of the body is dead. Even when we are in deep sleep in the middle of the night, breathing will be continuously going on. Breathing is one thing that is happening. Whether mind is thinking or not, whether intelligence is making plans or not, whether eyes are seeing or not, ears are hearing or not. But one thing is going on. Breathing will go on. If breathing stops, we are good for nothing. This body is nothing but a what do you say, a clump of flesh. But that's all. So, pranan tanva iva agatam. Here two things are there. Seeing the Vidura coming, the Pandavas immediately got up whatever they are doing. If you remember in the previous chapter, we discussed that as soon as the Dwarkavasis heard the sound of the conch shell of Krishna, everyone left whatever they were doing. Somebody eating, stopped there and left without even washing hands. They left. Somebody sleeping, they got up with the sleeping clothes only. They went out of the city. Whatever they are doing there, they stopped in the middle and went out. Similarly, these people also stopped everything and they went out. Prati Jagmur Praharshena with complete happiness. Harsha means happiness. Praharshena means complete happiness. They went out. How? It is like the prana coming back to the dead body. The dead body is lying dead. As soon as the prana comes, the body becomes active and gets up and jumps, dances, etc., speaks, and so many things happen with the live body. Dead body can't do anything. That is the condition of the Pandavas. As soon as the Pandavas saw Vidura coming, they felt as if they became alive from the dead state. Abhisangamya Vidivat Pari Sangavi Vanditai. So it is like that. The rest of the relatives of the Pandu and their wives and sons became revived as if their life air had returned to their limbs. And according to suitability, joyfully mixed with his company, greeted and embraced him. The younger people fell flat at his feet, offered obeisances to him. Those who are equal to him, they embraced him, like Dhritarashtra equal, he embraced. The Pandavas fell flat and offered obeisances. So like that, according to, and those who are like somewhat equal, somewhat less, they kind of offered namaskar, like that. Normal people, they offered namaskar, etc. According to their position, their relationship with Vidura, they did welcome him. Outskirts of the city are in front of the main palace, something like that. Suta is Sanjaya, Sharadvata is Krupacharya, Krupi the wife of Dronacharya, Jamaya means the wives of their relatives, Tanva means the parts of the body like the hands and feet. Everyone became active. All the bodily parts became activated. When the life air goes, a person faints, unconscious. When the life air returns, the person regains consciousness. As if life air are returned to the limbs, the Nastinapur Vasis revived their various actions. So without Vidura, their life is like without life. Something like that. Pranam Tanva Ivagatam. As if life had returned to their bodies. This sentence comes many times in the Bhagavatam. If there is sadhu sangha, there is life. Otherwise, life is dead. This kind of understanding is mentioned many times in the rest of the Bhagavatam. Whenever some auspicious person comes to their home, they feel like their life has come back. Without their presence, their life is good for nothing. Later on in the 11th canto, it is mentioned that when Narada Muni comes to the house of Vasudev, Vasudev says same thing. Since you have come to our house, we have some meaning to live in this world. Otherwise, our life is useless. And of course, many places it comes. Even when Kumaras came, Ritu Maharaj receives them as if the life had come to come again. So, even in the past we discussed, when Narada Muni came to the ashram of Vasudev, Vasudev immediately got up and received him as and worshipped him as if Brahma himself came. So, for any person, when a sage comes to their home, they should feel that okay, life has come back to. That is a mood expressed in the Bhagavatam many places. Comes like that. So how did they receive him further? Mumuchu prema bashpaugam virahautkantaya kat katara rajatam aharyam chakre कृतासन परिग्रहम तम भुक्तावंतम विश्रांतम आसीनम सुखमासने प्रश्रयावनतो राजा प्राहा तेषां च शृण्वताम्.
Due to anxieties and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened.
So, this verse talks about the guest reception. Whenever a guest comes to our home, we need to follow this kind of code of conduct. We also discussed this when Narada Muni came to Vasudev's ashram. How did Narada Muni receive? How did Vasudev receive Narada Muni? This concept also comes again and again in the many places in the Bhagavatam. Agitated by the longing created by separation, they shed tears of love. As soon as the 5 Pandavas along with Kunti Maharani, Draupadi Desa, Vidura, immediately the tears were profusely flowing out of their eyes. Mumuchur prema bashpaugam. Mumuchu means rain. Just like in the rainy season, the raindrops comes down. As soon as they saw Vidura, their eyes are downpouring like the rain. The tears of love. And Viraha Outkantya Katara. Viraha means out of separation. After long separation of 35 years, not 1 year, 2 years. After 35 years, they get to see a person who is their eternal well-wisher. And any person have that expression of the love and affection. The Pandavas had at most, Yudhishthira will tell in the next verse why it is so. He will tell about that. So Viraha Outkantya Katara, they were always anxious about Vidura's return. Now at the end he came back. So they are actually profusely crying out of love for him. Then the king had him accept a seat and worshipped him. Raja tam arhayam chakre kritasana parigraham. Immediately took him inside, made him sit on the elevated throne, washed his feet, offered worship by offering the auspicious articles, etc. etc. Then tam bhuktavantam, then fed him nicely, because he was traveling for many years at that mendicant pilgrimage. You don't know what all he ate, etc. Simple thing where we can see that when children come home, what the mother will do? Immediately she will tell that go and get fresh up and come. In the meantime, I will prepare for you some snacks. As soon as the child goes inside and bathroom and then gets ready and comes back, the mother comes up with a glass of juice or glass. Of course, in the normal people outside they may give tea, but devotees might give some herbal tea or a glass of juice, and then some snacks will be there. Whether she might prepare something or something is already available, bring it. This is like normal custom. Here also, after making him sit on the asan, after worshipping him, so in our case, the mother may say, go to bathroom and get ready. But here they are only washing the feet. They only wash the feet. And one person might be washing the feet, other person might be fanning on both sides. It's like when Lord Krishna, how did Lord Krishna receive Sudama? When Sudama came to Dwaraka. Same thing, no? Sudama came walking for long distance. As soon as Krishna understood that Sudama is coming, immediately got up from his bed where Mother Rukmini is fanning him and massaging him. He brought him inside, made him sit on the bed of Rukmini, and immediately requested Rukmini to bring all the necessary paraphernalia. Mother Rukmini personally was giving the water, Lord Krishna was washing the feet, and Lord Krishna kind of massaged. Then he wiped the feet. Then he did worship, offering the articles, whatever arti we do, that kind of arti is being performed to here to Vidura and there to Sudama. Then afterwards, they'll need to be fed because they are traveling for long. Nowadays, people might be coming by flight or etc. etc. But those days they were coming walking only. No, Vidura is like a mendicant, he was walking only, long distance. So by washing the feet, it is like kind of removing all the fatting. Then by feeding food, bhojan, it is like nourishing them. So Yudhishthira Maharaj bought nice foodstuffs. So they made Vidura to eat all of them very nicely. Then Vishrantam, then they requested him, please go and take rest. You are tired, you have been traveled long, please take some rest. So example that if we are coming the noon time, they received him, offered him worship and then offered him nice prasad, then requested him to take rest. He might have gone to take rest for 2-3 hours. Then now it is in the evening. As soon as he got up, they everyone came assembled in the hall and they gave a nice high seat and where asinam sukamasane. He was made to sit on a very nice elevated comfortable seat. For what purpose? Prashraya Vanato Raja Prahatesham Shunvatam. Then the king with humility spoke to Vidura for all to hear. So Vidura was sitting on the high seat and the rest of the family members are sitting around him. Yudhishthira was sitting very close to him at his feet. And then he began to make inquiry about what all he did in the past 35 years. So that everyone can hear and understand. This is how a guest is received. As soon as the guest comes, we should not ask why you have come. What is the activity? First, he should be welcomed nicely. He should be fed nicely. Allow him to take some rest. Then, when he comes, he sits there. Everyone in the family should sit around him. So not like that. Okay, you talk to him, understand. I have my work. I'll go and come back. It's not like that. Nowadays, we are very busy. We don't have time to speak to each other. But in the past, it is not like that. When the relative comes, the entire family sits next to them, and they will talk about what are their experiences in their home, etc. etc.
One month, you were telling me if any brahmachari comes to your house, then you have to wash the feet and you have to bring that water. Is that true?
Not brahmachari, sannyasi. Yeah. Brahmacharis are like the children for the householders. Will the parents ever wash the feet of the children? No. The only one condition they wash the feet of a person who is like their son, only in the marriage. Only in the marriage, the parents of the girl will wash the feet of their upcoming son-in-law. Otherwise, the elders never wash the feet of children. Sannyasi is supposed to be washed, not the brahmacharis. Brahmacharis are never supposed to be washed. That is actually not good for both. Accepting such kind of respect from elders, not good for the brahmacharis. And doing that is not good for the householders.
ब्रह्मचारी is technically sannyasi only.
Technically नहीं. कौन बोला technically sannyasi करके?
You left everything and sannyasi.
Brahmachari means what? Brahmachari also left everything ना? Brahmachari also lives by begging only. गुरुकुल में कैसे ले जीते brahmachari? Brahmachari is not like the residential school. Brahmachari means leaving home, leaving all the comforts, going to Gurukul, studying under the Guru, living by begging. The students will go out for begging. They come home, they come to the Guru home and they give everything to the Guru and Guru will feed them. Here also we are fed by Maharaj only. Whatever charities we get to the temple, not because we are here. It is because Maharaj is here. because Prabhupada is established this institution because Maharaj is here personally. Because of the Maharaj, we are getting all the donations and we are being fed with that money. We have only thing we are not doing is we are not going out for begging. But according to our institution is begging means book distribution. So some of our brahmacharis is going every day for Nagir Sankirtan and book distribution. In the marathon, some might be going, etc. etc. So at least for our temple, brahmacharis will go for book distribution 1 year compulsory. BT, brahmachari training 1 year. All the new trainees supposed to go for 1 month book distribution training without fail. Even in fact that whole year we are supposed to go. We did during our BT 1 year training course. Every day we used to go to book distribution the local trains, Monday to Friday, except Saturday Sunday. And December we have been to many places in Maharashtra. Where all we went to Ratnagiri, we went to all that Konkan area, many places in the Konkan area. And even Mumbai, Palmwell, Navi Mumbai, starting from here all the way up to Ratnagiri, in between all the places we covered, Chiploon, etc. etc. Even here Nigdi also we went. It's like that. So,
Probably it is sannyas only, no? Like,
Nahi Baba, sannyasi, brahmachari is brahmachari.
it's just our method because earlier, like
Not
when
method.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and others, like there was no. I don't think there was this thing like for
What like that?
brahmachari and then you become.
It was eternally there. Brahmachari, then Grahastha, when Vanaprastha, sannyasi. It was there.
Yes,
Sometimes
so-
brahmacharis
but
can
then
become directly
brahmachari is
sannyasi.
also going to get married throughout their life. They are going to continue like that. So then it is sannyas only.
Nahi, sannyasi is alag. Sannyas means you need to receive formal initiation of sannyas.
Srila Prabhupada was Paramahansa. Ask
Prabhuji, once a person becomes a sannyasi, he cannot become a householder, whereas a brahmachari can become a householder or
Yeah.
a sannyasi.
Brahmachari can become a householder at any point of time, but sannyasi technically not supposed to become a householder. But sometimes unforeseen circumstances in Kaliva it becomes. But in the past it is not like that. But nowadays it's okay. Somehow or other perform bhakti. That's what Prabhupada said. Even during Prabhupada's times, Prabhupada gave sannyasa to some of his disciples, but they could not last long. So eventually they became grosas. Because at Prabhupada's time it was emergency. It was dire necessity for the sannyasis to go out and preach. So he gave sannyas to many people. But technically, if you see in other sampradayas, Madhva Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, or other sampradayas, they don't give sannyas just like that. Even in ISKCON now, they don't give sannyas just like that. They give sannyas only to the people who are above 50 years, who are under the vigilance for 10 years, under the scrutiny for 10 years. Then only they give sannyas. They don't give just like that. At the time of Prabhupada, it is like that. They gave. So it's like that. It is a proper bona fide varnashram system. Don't change it. Sannyasi is sannyasi, brahmachari is brahmachari, grosha is grosha.
all the 4 stages
In
of
the
sannyas.
Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur started the sannyas.
Before that, many of the devotees used to follow the Babaji Vesh or Goswami. That is a little more than sannyasi. All 6 Goswamis are living more than sannyas order. Their life is so rigorous than sannyas order. Because they have not taken sannyas. Some of them could have taken sannyas. Rupa Goswami sannyas, Sanatana Goswami, they want to take sannyas, you will give them sannyas. Because by serving Nawab Hussain Shah, today Bhagavatam class Prabhuji was very nicely coming. So they've almost become Muslims. None of the Hindu community would have accepted them. They were not accepting them only in one sense. But Mahaprabhu gave them initiation. You remain here, Paramahamsas. That's all. They are much higher than sannyasi in that sense. From the technical understanding of outside society, they were not accepted sannyas, but they are like Goswamis. Because they respected the outside culture. That's why Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Haridas Thakur never entered into Jagannath Puri temple. Because that is a social custom. Haridas Thakur is said to be born in the Yavana family. And Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they have served Yavanas, they are as good as Yavanas. So technically they are not allowed in Jagannath Mandir. But they never also demanded that we want to get darshan. They always said, no, we are not qualified. They would take darshan of Sudarshan Chakra from far and they are happy. In fact, the same Jagannath in the form of Chaitanya would come to give his darshan every day. See their great fortune. It is like that. In spite of being so great, they were respecting the social custom. So that is their greatness. So it is like that.
No, at the time of Shankaracharya and after that, whenever anyone wanted to dedicate life for Bhakti, so it was, I feel it was like that they were given sannyas directly.
Yeah, sannyas was given, not just like that. After proper scrutiny and verification, everything. Sannyas is not like getting admission in some of the schools here and there. Paisa baro and some admission mil jaye, aisa nahi. Sannyas is awarded only to the people who are qualified for that order to carry on.
There are 4 stages in Mahabharata. The last stage is Paramahamsa of sannyas.
It's okay. That is details in the sannyas.
It's totally different from.
Okay. Never ever make that mistake. And even one more point. Even the father-in-law will wash the feet of son-in-law only during the marriage, and that too there is a special reason. The understanding of marriage is that no one is qualified to accept somebody else's responsibility in this world. The duty of the husband at the time of marriage, he makes a vow that I will make sure that she will get deliverance. And I will make sure that the sons of her will be getting deliverance. That is my responsibility. That is a vow made by the husband at the time of marriage. And I have read the detailed explanation of the marriage ceremony from Sri Vaishnava Acharya's understanding. The only one person who can fulfill this vow is Lord Vishnu. Other than Lord Vishnu, no one can fulfill this vow. But becoming a representative of Lord Vishnu, the bridegroom on behalf of Lord Vishnu accepts the bride, saying that I will make all the endeavors to facilitate the deliverance of her and her children in the future. So when he makes that vow on behalf of Lord Vishnu, the father-in-law washes his feet, considering him to be none other than Vishnu. Only Lord Vishnu or his representative are worthy of this kind of respect. None of the other living entities are worthy of this respect. So in the marriage ceremony, since the bridegroom makes the vow on behalf of Lord Vishnu that I will make sure that I will deliver, I will help in all respects today for the deliverance of this girl and her children, the father-in-law washes his feet, treating him as the representative of Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, one is not supposed to wash the feet of anybody younger in any circumstance.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
People are not aware about this.
वे वो not aware. कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में भेजेगा तो कैसे अवेयर होगा? गुरुकुल में भेजेगा तो कुछ बताएंगे उनको. कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में ये नहीं बताएगा. उनको ये चीज बताएगा बस. How to eat and sleep and be merry. बस how to earn more money. That's all. That is only being told in the schools. हाँ yes माता जी.
प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम. प्रभु जी आप ये लास्ट चैप्टर से क्वेश्चन है, पर आप चाहे तो लास्ट में बता सकते हो. पंचरात्र विधि के बारे में मुझे पूछना था, तो वो जब भी इसके लिए मैंने कहा आपको
Okay,
अभी बता.
अभी नहीं.
ओके प्रभु जी, नो प्रॉब्लम. हरे कृष्ण.
Yeah, thank you. So here, anyway, for Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vidura is like the father. The father's feet can be washed anytime. There is no hindrance. And Vidura is their well-wisher. And Vidura is a great devotee. So his feet can be washed anytime. A sannyasi or a person who is on the level of sannyasi can be worshipped anytime. Not only sannyasi, any grahastha devotee who is very senior, not only in age, but also in his devotional credibility. If they come to our home, his feet can be washed. But not the younger brahmacharis. समझ गए? So never treat someone brahmacharis and sannyasis same level. Sannyasis are sannyasis, guru is guru, brahmachari is brahmachari. You can feed nicely brahmachari. You don't have to do feed washing and all. Brahmacharis are happy if you feed them. So it's like that. So this verse specifically talks about guest reception. How when a guest comes to home, if they are younger, even though if they are elder, the feet washing is only one thing difference. Otherwise, remaining all can be done. Washing feet and worshipping him if they are elder, or if they are representative of Lord Vishnu or Guru, in that caliber, they can be done. So, now, Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking to Vidura on behalf of everyone, so that everyone can listen to him. Yudhishthira uvacha api samartano yushmat pakshachaya sameditan vipadganad vishagnedhyar mochitaya samatrika.
Maharaja Yudhishthira said, "My uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of the bird, saved us from poisoning and arson."
Yudhishthira is reminding Vidura that where all he took care of him, them actually. Do you remember? Yudhishthira saying that, my dear uncle, do you remember us? Because we, along with our mother, growing up under the shade of your wings, were saved by you from the poison and the fire and other dangers. When the Pandavas were saved from poison and fire by Vidura? Lakshagruha.
When Bhima was given poison by Duryodhana.
That time, how did Vidura help?
Vidura
was there in the picture during that time?
No.
This was only in Lakshagruha, mainly in Lakshagruha.
Lakshagruha, he supported them by digging the tunnel. And cautioning them while they were going.
He informed Vidura, saying that there is some danger being planned. So, just like a rat is saved from burning fire by entering into a tunnel. It's a clue he gave. And even he sent some of the people who can dig that tunnel beneath the earth from their inner chambers. So in that way, actually helped completely. And he also informed them to stay incognito for some time. When right time comes, you can come back again. They are all instructions given by Vidura. Actually, at the end of the tunnel, when they came out of the tunnel, there Vidura met them again. That time he told, stay in incognito, unseen by others. Travel and understand how the world is. And come back when time comes, right time comes. So in that way, Vidura protected them. Even when the partition of the kingdom, also Vidura helped them. When Bhishma took the decision that let us part the kingdom into two parts, otherwise there is always quarrel between Duryodhana and Pandavas. That time also Vidura helped them in all respects. So like that, many other places also, every time Vidura was constantly there, understanding their simplicity, their past nature, their devotional attitude. He was always there to help them, guide them in all respects. And he was telling that just like the small birds are saved from the scorching heat being placed under its wings. For example, the mother bird is flying and the small birds are also flying along with it. So when it is noontime in the summer, upcoming months, April, May, June, etc., etc., then the big bird flies, keeping the small birds underneath its wings. So it will take the entire heat upon itself, and the small birds are protected. Like that, here it says that Yushmat Pakshas Chaya Samehitan. Just like the small birds are protected underneath, being placed under the wings of the big bird, we are always saved, being placed under your care. So they are remembering what all he had done till now. Just as the birds raise their young with great affection under the shade of their wings, you raised us. Another meaning is Pakshashaya is showing favor to us. Ed Mochita means because we were saved by you. In one sense, Dhritarashtra, who is responsible for the protection of the Pandavas, but he is scheming so many means to kill the Pandavas along with the Dushyasthya. Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna and Shakuni mixing with those four. He has become the fifth member, allowing so many plans to be made so that Pandavas will be killed. But Vidura, who is on the same level of Dhritarashtra, who is like their chacha, he was always looking for the protection of Pandavas. So that's how. On one side, one person who is supposed to be taking care of them is scheming to kill them. On the other side, Vidura is always helping them how to come out of that difficult situation and protected. So you have actually saved us in all circumstances. So they are expressing their gratitude for Vidura. So it's like that. Then he continues. Of course, this is about what all happened when Vidura was there along with them. Now Vidura left Hastinapur. This if you have gone through Mahabharata properly, during the Shantiduta episode, what happens? Not the details, but at the end, what happened? What is the result? So when Duryodhana wanted to capture Krishna, Krishna showed his universal form. He said, "War is inevitable. I am going. Let us meet in Kurukshetra battle." When he went in the evening, he left Hastinapur. In the night, Dhritarashtra calls Vidura. He tells, "So my dear brother, please tell us what to do now." Duryodhana is not listening. So war seems to be inevitable. War means there is a danger that my sons will be killed. So how I can save my children? So Vidura says straightforward. In the presence of Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, Shakuni, all these people are there next to him. You are maintaining the offense personified. This Duryodhana is the offense personified. He hates Lord Krishna. Krishna, who is Lord Hari, none other than Lord Hari. He hates the Pandavas, who are the completely surrendered devotees of Lord Hari. So these Pandavas are like the eyelids. So not eyelids, eyes of the Krishna. So just like the eyes are protected by the eyelids, Krishna always protects these 5 Pandavas. This person is always scheming so many plans to kill those Pandavas. Krishna can never tolerate. The only way, if you want to save your other sons, arrest him and kill him. If you arrest Duryodhana alone, you can be saved with 19 sons. Otherwise, if you can't do that, all your other sons will be killed. Duryodhana becomes very angry. What right do you have to speak all these things nonsense? Get away, get lost for what you have said. Because he told that arrest Duryodhana to the extent that kill him also. Then he said that the only punishment is right for your wrong attitude is to kill you. But somehow or other you have served my father all these years. I give you your life. Get lost from my kingdom only with your breath. So that time he says that you Dasi Putra, you son of the kept mistress. So he insult Vidura. So Vidura understands, okay, enough is enough. I have done my duty, whatever I am supposed to do, I am leaving. So Vidura leaves Hastinapur at that point of time. After that, the war was over, Pandavas became the rulers and they ruled for 35 years, then now they came back. So in these 35 years, what all you did? That's what Yudhishthira is asking now. Kaya vritya vartitam vascha.
Krishti Mandalam.
Sorry, what is this? Kuch to problem is. Okay. Kaya vritya vartitam vas charadbhikshiti mandalam tirtani kshetra mukyani sevitani habhutale.
While
While
traveling
traveling on
how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service?
As you wandered over the earth, Charadbi Kshiti Mandalam, as you traveled on the surface of the earth all over Bharatavarsha, what did you do for your maintenance? Kaya Vritya Vartitam was. Vartitam is to maintenance. Vritti means occupation. What kind of occupation you followed in order to maintain yourself? Because Kshatriyas are not supposed to be begging. Vidura kind of living among the Kshatriyas, he is not Kshatriya in one sense, but he was living like Kshatriya all these years. So now what kind of occupation did you follow all these years? So then, Tirthani Kshetra Mukyani Sevitani Habutale. What major holy places did you serve on the earth? Basically, what are the holy places you travel to? Can you please talk about your pilgrimage all these years? How did you maintain yourself and where all you went? Simple. Even when we go on Yatra, when we return, some of our neighbors, other devotees who have not gone to Yatra, they ask, so where all you went? What happened? All this, what did Maharaj spoke? All these Yatra days, etc. They want to know. Something like that. Vritya means by livelihood. Va means by you. So, same thing which is mentioned in the 3rd canto. That narration I told, na? That of the Shantis episode, Duryodhana was Vidura says that you arrest this offense person, fight, then Duryodhana becomes angry and tells Vidura to leave home. That time this verse comes in the third canto. Sa nirgata kaurava punya labdo gajavaya tirtha pada padani anvakramat punya chikirsha yoryon adishtrito yani sahasramurti. After leaving for Hastinapur, where all did he went? Leaving Hastinapura, Vidura, who was piety for the Kurus, Kaurava Punya Labdo. In the Kuru family, the only one person who is noble is Vidura. Dhritarashtra, Vidura and their children, among their children, the only one pious person is Vidura. In the previous generation, it was Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, we can say. But in their generation, only Vidura is the pious person. Remaining all desiring to perform beneficial acts, wandered here and there on earth to all holy places of the Lord, whose 2 feet are sacred, where many deities of the Lord were installed. He traveled to different holy places where Lord had performed various pastimes. Basically, a place becomes holy wherever Lord places his feet. Placing feet means either he might be wandering there, he might be walking there, he might be living there. In any case, the feet is there. Those places become holy. And later on, all those holy places will be having the installation of the deities. So that was the thing. Vidura, he who produced piety for the Kuru family, desired to see those places of the Lord, whose feet are holy places, Tirtha Pada, thinking of those places at the Lord's feet, in which the forms of the Lord as Matsya and Kurma were situated. So wherever Lord had appeared in the past, wherever Lord had performed various pastimes in the past, all those places eventually became holy places because many devotees have installed the deities of the Supreme Lord. Now they are all holy places. Why we go to Vrindavan? Because Lord Krishna appeared there and performed many pastimes. That becomes holy place. Dwaraka also became holy place. Jagannath Puri also became holy place because Chaitanya performed various pastimes. Before that, Jagannath himself is installed there. Tirupati becomes holy place because Lord Vishnu comes down and performs austerities in order to take Mother Lakshmi back. Kolhapur, Mother Lakshmi comes here, performs austerities. Pandharpur, Lord Krishna comes to see his devotee Pundalik. And what else? Like that, any holy place. Ayodhya, Lord Ram appeared and performed all the pastimes, ruled over. What happened? He did not appear. Garuda performed austerities. As a result of that, by the request of Garuda, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared there. He did not perform pastime there. That is basically by the request of the devotee. So it's like that. All the pastimes that Lord had performed or appeared. Basically, Lord appears there by placing his feet there. That entire place becomes pious. So devotees go there to get the mercy of that holy place. So he traveled all the holy places where different deities of the Lord are installed and continuously worshipped. So then, in the same chapter, it says further that Pureshu Punyova Nadri Kujeshu Kunjeshu Apankatoyeshu Sarissahasra Sarastu Anantalingai Samalankriteshu Chachara Tirthaya Taneshu Anyay. It says that he alone traveled to many holy sacred places where there were forms of the Lord in cities, in places clear rivers and lakes, mountain groves, and pleasing gardens. So wherever Lord's holy place is there, if it is there on the bank of a river, it is called as holy Tirtha. If the Lord's temple is there on the top of a mountain, it is called as holy Kshetra. And sometimes the holy place can be there in the midst of the forest, on the bank of a Kolanu, in the small lake. It's like that. All these holy places will be somewhere adjacent to a mountain, adjacent to a water lake, water body, etc., etc. So gardens, cities, etc. All these things are there. So Vidura traveled to all those different places in order to worship the Supreme Lord. So then, where all he went? Gam paryatan medya vivikta vritti sada plutoda samayo shayano vaduta alakshita swairavaduta vesho vratani chere haritoshanani. wandering over the earth, maintaining himself solely according to his pure vow. Yudhishthira was asking what kind of occupation you have taken to. He has taken only the pure vow and bathing constantly for purity. In order to purify himself, he was bathing at every holy place. Sleeping on the earth. He was not sleeping on the AC guest rooms. He was simply sleeping on the earth underneath a tree, not caring for his body. Wearing clothing of a renunciate. He was wearing the clothes like a renunciate. He was not wearing the clothes of a Kshatriya. In the Hastinapur, he might be wearing royal dress. But when he went to pilgrimage, he was wearing simple dress. Why? And remaining unrecognized by his relatives. He does not want to be recognized by anyone else. If anyone else in that holy place, remember, recognizes him to be Vidura, will they leave him alone? No. Who will leave? He is a very well-known, great personality in the entire Bharatavarsha. If somebody comes to know that this person, you see, this mendicant is not a mendicant, is Vidura, the entire city will come there. But he does not want to be recognized by anybody else. So he was wearing like a mendicant, his entire attire, physical appearance is constantly changed, etc. And he performed austerities for the satisfaction of the Lord. Pratani Chere Haritoshnani. For the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, he undertaken so many austerities. Traveling over the earth, he maintained himself by pure, unmixed means. That means by begging. He was living, whatever the others would give, he would accept. Now, he was actually not even by begging. He did not beg. But by seeing him as a wandering mendicant, people would give him something. So he was maintained by that. He bathed in every holy place. Prabhupada writes in that purport saying that in the past, in all the holy places, there was some kind of arrangement known as satras. So whenever a holy people come to holy place and pilgrimage, they will be given free accommodation. They will be given food grains. There will be kitchen in that satram, wherever that accommodation is there. They would cook for themselves and they would have their own food. Even in the recent past also, even I do remember in my childhood when we go to Srishalam, which was very nearby from our village, we used to go to Srishalam every once or twice every year. So they used to have free accommodations. In that free accommodation, there used to be a kitchen and a living hall. It is like a kitchen and hall type of arrangement. And if we take rice, dal, everything from our home, it's a small stove. We don't have to worry anything. Accommodation is free. You can cook and you can sleep nicely and come back, spend 2 days there and come back. With least expenses, one can do pilgrimage. But now, going to pilgrimage means, okay, booking online, 3-star hotel, 5-star hotel, this hotel, that hotel, and what about food? This restaurant, that restaurant, today here, today there, like that. So many plans will be going on. But pilgrimage should be least bothered about one's own conveniences. The most of the time should be allocated for visiting different holy places, hearing from sadhus, and performing austerities, etc. Even in fact, in the holy places, they would not eat until they take darshan. Morning they get up, they go to river, they shave, they take bath in the river, they wear fresh clothes, new clothes, then they stand in the queue, they take darshan. Then by the time they take darshan complete, they come home in the noon time, then they cook, then they eat. It will be like evening 4 o'clock. But now, as soon as we get up before, now not in the sense not devotees, but others, as soon as they get up, they want bed coffee, bed tea. Then they go for breakfast, then they come, okay, let us take bath, then they go for darshan, and then they have lunch on the way here and there. So it's like we are so self-centered nowadays. But that is not the way one should go on pilgrimage in that way.
Kshatriya should not beg. So even this, whatever he is getting somewhere, that is just like a equivalent to begging. Somebody is given.
Begging means you are asking for something. If somebody gives on their own accord, that is not begging. It's seeing the hand of God in maintenance. Lord Vishnu is meant for maintenance of all the living entities. So Lord is maintaining us through the by means of some people. So it is like that. It should be seen like that. Begging means literally asking for something. Standing in front of somebody home and asking Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. That is begging. If somebody gives on their own accord, that is accepted. It is not considered as a beginning. He bathed in every holy place and thus purified himself. If he touched something impure after bathing, then he again took bath.
He didn't get the point.
See, actually in the Bhagavatam, if you read properly, you will understand. Canto 7, chapter 12, Canto 11, chapter 19 or 18 or 19. They talk about what are the set of rules and regulations that are meant for a Vanaprastha. A Vanaprastha not supposed to eat anything cooked. Basically, a Vanaprastha is supposed to be staying away from fire. Cooking means fire. And they are not supposed to pluck from the tree also. There may be so many mango fruits on the tree. Now mango season is very soon coming up. There may be hundreds of fruits on the top of the tree, but they are not supposed to pluck even one fruit. Whichever fruit on its own falls down from the tree, which is lying on the land, that only they have to accept. And other food grains, such as rice or anything, if they are onto the rice plant, they are not supposed to take it. If the rice grains fall from the rice plant and they are on the surface, they can collect them and remove the husk and then eat the rice grains, raw rice grains, or maybe soak in the water and then eat. Not supposed to cook. So that was the set of austerities prescribed for a Vanaprastha. So that is left still. And they are not supposed to, no fire means no hot water. So where they will take bath? Can't be bath correctly. So it's like that. In spite of getting cold, in spite of getting fever, they are supposed to take bath. Read Journey Home, you will understand. So he always purified himself in order to remember the mantras concerning the Lord, which required a pure body. This is important point. He always purified himself in order to remember the mantras concerning the Lord, which required a pure body. Outside people now, when they go for book distribution, they say that, so no, I don't want to touch Bhagavad Gita today because I ate meat today. And some people say that today, no, I don't want to touch Bhagavad Gita now because I have not taken bath. People know this because any devotional articles, devotional items are not supposed to be touched without pure condition, without taking bath, etc. Not supposed to be touched. So because anything connected to devotional activity should be done in a pure state that everyone knows. So here the previous line is that if he touched something impure after bathing, then again he took bath. He takes bath always to remain pure, so that he can perform devotional activities. In order to enter into temple, is supposed to be pure. So something like that. And he did not decorate his body. He did not decorate himself like a royal personality. Previously, he was the minister of Hastinapur. He was wearing nice, good-looking clothes, but now he was simply wearing nice, simple sannyasi robes or Mandikan robes. He was not sannyasi in one sense. He was like Vanaprastha. He wore bark clothing, Avaduta Vesha, and was unrecognized by his relatives. He was wearing some tree bark or what we can say. In the past, they used to make this saris or dhotis with what is that called in English? The ropes are made with jute. So nowadays we also have jute dhoti and jute saris, etc. But not so fine. But in the past they are usually very rough. Such kind of clothing would be worn by these wandering mendicants. They are very rough. They are constantly pricking, but still they wear. Because even if you remember, they are called Ulkala. When Lord Ram and Mother Sita and Lakshman were going to the forest, Kaikeyi personally gives them these jute clothes. But they cannot go in the royal robes. So Lord Rama, Mother Sita and Lakshmana wore these jute clothes and they go on to the forest. Even in fact, when these people go on to the forest, in order to avoid the care of the hair, the entire hair will be applied some kind of liquid so that it all becomes one particular, what do you call that?
Gum, plants, gum.
some kind of plants gum. It is applied to the hair, so it remains as a one thread kind of thing. So that they don't need to do head bath. I mean, head bath they can do, but they don't need to worry about taking care of the hair every day. So like that, Lord Ram, Lakshmana, and Mother Sita, their hair was kind of, I don't know whether Mother Sita or not, but it is Lord Ram and Lakshmana. Jatadari, it is called as. So their hair becomes like Jata. When they came back to Ayodhya, they were nicely shaved. So it is like that. So that kind of austerities they are supposed to go through in the Vanaprastha. So it is very severe. Just if you read na 12th chapter of 7th canto, okay, enough, both okay. To close the book. Just by reading itself, we can't tolerate it. Then what to speak of following it? It is not so easy. We living in city culture, following city culture, we are long way from Vedic life standards. Even a brahmachari is supposed to go through all such kind of austerities while living in the Gurukul. At Prabhas, after traveling to many holy places, eventually when he came to Prabhas, Vidura. At Prabhas, he heard about the destruction of his friends, the Yadus, by rivalry. Just as a forest is burned up by fire, generated by friction of bamboos. In grief, he proceeded silently. Eventually, after traveling to all the holy places, without going to Dwarka, Vidura did not go to Dwarka directly. Because he thought that so many years I was associating with Duryodhana and Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra and all their company. My heart is so much contaminated. Let me purify first. So he traveled to all the holy places, taking cold water bath and performing all the austerities. Then he thought of going to Dwarka. But before going to Dwarka, at Prabhas only came to know that when he came to Prabhas, somebody told him, you know, yesterday all the Yadus killed among themselves and died. All the Yadus died. Balranga disappeared and Krishna also disappeared. As soon as he heard it, Vidura became aghast. So immediately he thought that, okay, now my time is also done. I don't have anything to do here. I also leave from this place. But before leaving from this place, let me visit Lord Krishna's birthplace. So immediately Vidura goes to Vrindavan. On the bank of Yamuna, he meets Uddhava. He requests Uddhava, my dear sir, please tell me what happened. So for the entire night, Uddhava talks to Vidura, talks about, remembers all the pastimes of Lord Krishna and how did Lord Krishna brought all the Yadus to Prabhas and Prabhas said how they fought among themselves and they killed each other. Everything happened. Then Lord Krishna gave me a mission that I have to go to Badrikashram, etc. Like that says. Then somehow or other, I came to Prabhas yesterday and I happened to meet Lord Krishna. Along with Maitreya was there and Lord Krishna spoke to us elaborately on various subject matters. Then Vidura asks, so my dear sir, please tell me what Lord Krishna spoke to you. Then Uddhava says that, my dear sir, if at all you want to know about that, you please approach Maitreya. Now I have a very important mission that I need to go to Badrikashram. So next morning, Uddhava goes to Badrikashram. That whole day, Vidura travels to all the pastime places of Lord Krishna in the entire Madhura Mandal. Then he goes to Haridwar. At Haridwar, he meets Maitreya Rishi. He asks various questions from Maitreya. He asks from Maitreya Muni for a couple of days. Then he comes to Hastinapur. That's how the Vidura goes through this entire pilgrimage and etc. All these pieces. So now this is one of the important verse which is there for your exam also. Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirthabhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gadapurta.
My Lord, devotees like your good self are the verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage.
Yudhishthira is saying that Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirthabhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gadabruta. O Master, O Vibho, O our Lord, our dear Lord, devotees like your good self are holy place personified, holy place incarnate. Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirthabhuta Swayam Vibhu. You yourself is a holy place personified. In the previous verse, he asked that to which are the holy places you have been to. Now he is saying that you yourself is a holy place personified. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Why? You purify the holy places. Because the Lord is situated within you. The people in general, they go to holy place in order to take bath in that holy river. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Kaveri, etc. So that they can dump all their sinful activities in that holy river. They want to be purified. Now all the whole sinful activities, sinful reactions are settled in the river. How is that river gets purified? Whenever the pure devotees like Vidura goes to that holy place, when they take bath in that holy river, the river gets purified of all accumulated sins. Why so? Because Swa Antasta Ena Gadabruta. Because you constantly carry Gadabruta, the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, who is holding Gada in his hand eternally. He is situated in your heart. By his, when you take bath, he is also taking bath along with you. When he takes bath, the holy river is completely purified. That's why since you carry the Supreme Lord in your heart constantly, you yourself is the holy place personified. The holy place is purifying the sins of other people, pilgrims. But you people like you are purifying the holy place. You are much superior to holy place. You make a holy place holy. Otherwise, once the river is filled with all the sinful activities, how can it purify others, newcomers? The people in general, when they go there and deposit their sinful activities for 1 year, at the end of the year, one holy sage comes and takes bath. Now river becomes crystal clear. It can again accept the sins of many other people for the next 1 year. Something like that. In this verse, he says that Vidura's going to the holy place is good fortune for those places. Because you make the holy places even greater, purifying the pure. It is personalities like you make the holy place holy. Otherwise, the holy place already contaminated by the sins of so many visitors. So this is the glory of a devotee who carries the Lord in their heart constantly. They make a holy place holy. Even in the Bhagavatam, we see that all the devotees in the Bhagavatam, they are all Kshatriyas. They are mostly grocers. When they receive a holy sage with a renunciate, etc., they say that now our home has become purified. By your visit, by stepping your feet in this place, it is not because of them, because they are carrying the Lord in their heart. By the Lord coming to the home of some devotee, the home becomes auspicious. Something like that. So this kind of narration comes many places in the Bhagavatam. Some references I put here. Pragayata Swaviryani Tirthapada Priyashrava Ahuta Ivame Shigram Darshanam Yati Chetasi. So this is from 1st canto 6th chapter verse number 33. Nardamuni is saying, what did Nardamuni say? When I sing his glories, when I sing the glories of Lord Vishnu, the Lord who makes any place that he touches holy, Tirtha Pada. Wherever Lord keeps his feet, that becomes Tirtha, holy place. And who is attached to those sing his glories. Naham Tishtami Vaikunte Yoginam Hridayeshu Va. Yatra Tishtami Narada Tatra Gayanti Madbhakta. Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. Wherever my devotees sing my glories, I stay there. I do not stay in the hearts of the yogis or in Vaikuntha. The same way. And who is attracted to those who sing his glories quickly appear in my heart as if being called. As soon as I chant Narayana, Narayana, the Lord appears in my heart or appears on my tongue. That's what Nardamuni says. As if being called, Lord immediately comes. As soon as I chant Lord's holy name or holy glories, etc. etc. So this is the potency of a great devotee. So devotee always talks about the Supreme Lord. As soon as a devotee, pure devotee talks about the Supreme Lord, will manifest there. That means wherever he goes, Lord goes along with him. So simple. Priyashrava means that Krishna goes wherever his glories are sung, since he is attracted to that. Tirthapada means that wherever the Lord goes becomes a holy place. The Lord actually is controlled by Bhakti. And thus, appears without being called. Even though the devotee is not calling the Lord, he is simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. But the Lord comes on his own, as if he is being called. Therefore, the verse says that he comes as it being called. Jiva Goswami explained that he is attracted not for his own glorification, but to give mercy to those devotees. So Lord is eager to show his godless mercy upon the devotees. Kim durapadanam tesham pumsham udama chetasam air ashritas tirtha padas charano vyasa natyaya. This is from 3rd canto, chapter 23, verse number 42. So here it says that, what is the difficulty to achieve for those with full absorbed minds who only take shelter of the feet of the Supreme Lord, which destroy all misfortune? Those people who take shelter of the Supreme Lord's holy feet, all misfortune in their life will be destroyed completely. And the devotees with that condition, when they go to holy place, the misfortune of that holy place also will be destroyed. They make the holy places holy. नेहयत कर्म धर्माय ना वैराग्याय कल्पते ना तीर्थपद सेव्याय जीवन अपि मृतो हिसा. This mother Devoti is speaking to Kardama. She says that a person whose actions do not lead to dharma, whatever activities that we perform every day, they are supposed to lead to the performance of Sanatana Dharma. Our going to office, our taking breakfast, lunch, dinner, our taking rest in the night, our constructing home, our purchasing new properties, our purchasing vehicle, or any other activity that we do in our daily life, all those activities should be lead to performance of Sanatana Dharma or Bhakti. Why? By performing all these activities, there should be detachment. As a grahastha, one may be earning so many things, but after earning all those things, one should not be possessed of all these facilities. One should earn all those things as a matter of duty, but one should be detached. One should be indifferent to all the facilities. Why? Because only when one is indifferent to all those things, then one can have time to serve the Supreme Lord. Service to the Lord's lotus feet. If one's activities are not leading to dharma, that's meant basically. So it says that he whose actions are not for the purpose of performing Sanatana Dharma, which is meant to bring us a detachment, which is meant to give us the opportunity to serve the lotus of the Supreme Lord, that kind of person is concerned only with the body and senses, is already dead. That means whatever activities that we perform in our daily life, if all those activities are only meant to serve the senses and mind, the body, senses and mind, that person, though living, is considered to be dead. Jivan api mruto hisa. Even though that person is living, he is considered to be dead. So Mother Devoti is saying that the purpose of performing all our household duties is to accomplish our Varnashrama Dharma or Sanatana Dharma, which is supposed to bring in detachment in our heart after the necessary purification of the heart, which is supposed to provide the facility to serve the Lord in the later part of our life 24/7. Otherwise, Jivan api mruto isa. Even though a person is living, is as good as dead. Because otherwise, what will happen? If a person is only dedicated to serve his body, senses, and mind, what happens? Result क्या है?
Bondage.
उसका रिजल्ट क्या है? उसका रिजल्ट क्या है?
Bondage.
उसका रिजल्ट क्या है?
Cycle of birth and death.
Distress.
Sorry?
Distress.
No. Distress is very small thing.
Material attachment.
The ultimate result is that we need to take birth again. We continue to remain in this material world only. Jivan api mruto isa. What is that one thing which is real in this world?
Mrityu.
Only death. If not today, tomorrow death will come. Yes? If we don't go back home back to Godhead, next thing is compulsory birth. Birth means there will be again death. Jatasya hi dhruvam janma. Mrutasya is compulsory na. No one can avoid mrityu. Who can avoid mrityu? Why?
Those
How?
don't take birth.
Going behind birth and how you will go? Where you will go? By serving Lord. 9. How can you avoid? Yes. By going back to Godhead, by going back to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual world, for no one to take birth again. As long as one is in the material world, one is supposed to take birth. Birth means death. Death means birth. Birth means death. Jivan api mruto isa. Even though one is living, performing activities, one day has to die. Ultimately, that is the reality. Nothing else is the reality. Today, I may say, in South Mumbai, in 7 Hughes apartment, this nearby building, 7 Hughes apartment, I hold sea face apartment on the 34th floor. How long that will be true? I hold 34th apartment. How long it will be true?
As
Till
long
my
as
death.
you live.
After that the statement is no more valid. Death is real, not that saying that this is mine. That is not real. We may be having so many things. They are not eternal reality. We may be having this body. We may say that I am so and so. This is also not eternal reality. This is only the reality up to 60, 70 years. Afterwards, we have nothing to do with this body. So only death is reality in this world. So it is like that. Jivan api mruto isa. Even though that kind of person is living and performing so many wonderful activities, being glorified in the material world as a great scientist, great this, great that, so many things. Death is inevitable. Death is the only ultimate reality. But how can one avoid that? By going back home back to Godhead. That's all. Otherwise, no way to escape death. How to go back to Godhead? Following this. Karma should lead to dharma. Whatever activities, varnashrama duty that we perform, that should lead to sanatana dharma. That is sadhana bhakti. And that dharma should inculcate vairagya within our personality. That vairagya should facilitate our service to the Lord's lotus feet. So without vairagya, how can we serve the Lord? A person who wants to sleep all the way up to 7 a.m. in the morning can never attend Mangalarti. Will he ever attend Mangalarti? Because the time of Mangalarti is from 4:30 to 7:30. I'm including Mangalarti and Japa time, both. Or even Darshan also, if you include Bhagavatam class, we include all the way up to 9 o'clock. Person who is attached to sleeping all the way up to late morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, how will they attend morning program? Where is the Tirtha Seva? By the way, I'm sorry, today I got up late. Yesterday I did not get sleep. Today I missed my Mangalarti and my Japa also. So
one thing is sure, Guruji, if you don't get early in the morning, spiritual growth is next to impossible.
Yeah, thank you for that. So here Prabhuji says that if you don't get up early in the morning, spiritual progress is next to impossible. Because morning hours are the very suitable hours for our performance of spiritual activities. But let us logically analyze. So here analysis is that our karma should lead to the performance of sadhana bhakti, which is possible only when we have detachment. Now the simple thing is that we are supposed to have detachment from the sleeping, oversleeping in the morning, or going to bed early, rising early from the bed. Why we don't go to bed early?
Get up early.
We have mobile, we have laptop, so many things to do in the night, late night. So unless until we get detachment from them, we don't go to sleep early, we don't get up early, and there will be no morning program. So this is how Vairagya leads to all these things.
It's not like, what you're saying is also right. But the sleep doesn't come. Even if you go to bed early.
Because we have made up our life like that. See, I watch for myself only. If 6 days you continue to sleep at 11 p.m. in the night, how will you get sleep on the 8th day?
One day you wake up early, whatever the causes may be, if you're sleeping, then next day at night you will fall asleep. Every day you don't sleep.
Yes, that is also true. Because we are not following the proper, what we can say, proper culture, proper pattern. That's why all these problems.
Go at 9:30.
हाँ.
4 o'clock आँख खुल जाता है.
Of course, that is true. We don't get sleep because of so many other reasons are there. We have mental issues, physical issues, all these things are there. But everything has some root cause. Our upbringing, our culture, all these things are there. So everything leads. That's why it is, see, karma leads to dharma, dharma leads to vairagya. Karma means all the activity that we perform since our childhood, since our birth. वो सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए we should talk about it. So today we are not getting sleep not because of today's activities. It has connection to our last 2 years activities throughout the lockdown. What we have done. So something like that. So it all depends, is the result of cumulative actions. It is not an instantaneous response. And I'm sorry to add this onto little extra, but this may be little relevant. If the householders are attached to earning more and more money, more and more properties, more and more facilities, all these things, they will have less time for spiritual activities. And by the way, if we working very hard, if we earn something, are we not attached? We become attached. This is my product. We become attached. So then where is the detachment? Unless until there is detachment, we will not be able to devote ourselves to spiritual activities. Ultimately, what makes a devotee qualified to come back to Godhead? What is that one important thing that makes devotee to come back to Godhead? How much attachment? How much attachment?
100%.
Means what? 100% means what?
Completely devoted, 24/7.
Means what? That is complete attachment to Supreme Lord means zero attachment to the material things of this world. Without this is never possible. We only have 100%. If 100% is supposed to be given to Krishna and other things are supposed to be removed. If we without removing this, we cannot expect this. So it is like that. Hare Krishna, devotees online are able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Yennama
Prabhuji.
shruti masrena puman bhavati nirmala tasya tirtha pada kimva dasanam avashishyate. This is a verse spoken by Durvasa Muni unto Ambarish Maharaj in the 9th canto. After that entire episode, he was glorifying the wonderful nature of the devotee. He says that what is impossible for the servants of the Supreme Lord, whose feet are the holy places. The Lord's feet are the holy places. And those feet are constantly served within the core of the heart of the devotees. And what is impossible for a devotee? Because nothing is impossible for the Lord, who is constantly situated in the heart of a devotee. And for the devotee also nothing is impossible in that way. Merely by hearing their names, a person becomes completely purified. Whose names? The name of a pure devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees from Kulina Gram, they would visit Jagannath Puri every year. So while returning, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seeing them off, so at 1 year they asked, so my dear Lord, what is the meaning of a Vaishnava? What was the response given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first time?
Chanted the name of Lord once.
Yeah, those who chant the names of Lord Vishnu even once, they can be called as Vaishnavas. The next year they again came back to Jagannath Puri, attended Ratha Yatra. When they are about to leave, again they asked, so my dear Lord, what do you mean by a devotee, a Vaishnava? Then what was the response Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave? Yeah, those who chant the names of Lord constantly.
Continue.
The last year, chanting one time, that means beginning devotee. If 1 year passed, in this 1 year one is expected to come to one time chanting to always chanting. Again they go back. The next day again they came back for Ratha Yatra. When they are about to leave, again they asked, my dear Lord, what do you mean by a Vaishnava? What is the response? By seeing whom?
By seeing no
By seeing a devotee who the people in general remembers about the Supreme Lord, that person is called Vaishnava. So this is the progression that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expecting from a devotee. First time a person just started chanting, the devotee, fine. In due course of time, one should become to the extent that one is chanting always. In due course of time, just by his presence, the entire area becomes spiritualized. Everyone else becomes reminded of Supreme Lord. That person is a devotee. So here it's talking about that kind of person. What is impossible for the servants of the Lord whose feet are the holy places? Since the devotees carrying Lord Vishnu in their heart, this is again witnessed in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu past time when he was starting for South India Yatra. Whichever village he would go, he was dancing, chanting heavily. And whoever come near to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would embrace. By embracing, what would happen to that person? Being embraced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Purification.
Yeah, that person would be purified, he would get bliss, transcendental ecstasy. So, and when they go to the village, by seeing that person, the entire village would be transformed and they all became devotees. They also started chanting, dancing, etc. etc. See the effect. That is the effect of devotee. So, like that, Lord Chaitanya transformed all the places wherever he went. Not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all his representatives, even Srila Prabhupada, wherever he traveled, he created temples, centers, made devotees just by his auspicious presence. That is the effect of a devotee who carries the Supreme Lord in their heart. हमारा हृदय में भी भगवान है. He is busy in his sleep and we are busy in our activities. We are not worried about him and he is not worried about us. ऐसा अपना अपना दुनिया में है. But pure devotee, in the case of pure devotee, the devotee is only worried about the Lord and the Lord is only worried about the devotee. So both are in communion with each other. That is what happens in relation to pure devotee. यस्मिन् सत्कर्ण पीयूषे यशतीर्थावरे सकृत् श्रोत्रांजलिरुपस्पृश्य दुनते कर्म वासनाम्. A person with ears like cupped hands drinks just once the topics of the Lord, which are nectar for the ears of the devotees, topics which are water from the most famous holy place, destroys all impressions of karma. So again, one more connection to the holy place. Whenever we go to holy place, what is that the one thing we do? We go to the holy place, holy river, we take bath, and we also drink some holy water from that holy river. Are we not? Whenever some of our devotees, they go to Mayapur or Vrindavan, they collect some of the water of Ganga or Yamuna in some small bottle. They start giving to everyone, like Charanamrut. That is what we see. So, how do we drink water from a holy river? थोड़ा वाटर पाम में लेके पीते हैं. This is called Anjali. Just by collecting some of the water of the holy river in our cupped hands and drink with our mouth. Similarly, making our two ears like cupped hands, the Lord's holy pastimes are compared to holy tirtha. The water, the holy water in a holy place. Just like we drink water with our cupped hands, with our cupped ears, we should drink Krishna Katha at least once. Sakar at least once. Then what happens? By drinking that Krishna Katha, our heart is purified of all contamination. By taking bath in the holy river, our body is purified. By hearing Krishna Katha, that is the effect. From whom we are supposed to hear Krishna Katha?
Prabhuji, last sentence, it cut by network. Hare Krishna. By hearing Krishna Katha?
By drinking water or by bathing in the holy river, our body gets purified. By hearing Krishna Katha, our heart gets purified. Our consciousness gets purified.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like that. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj, continuing. Apina suhrudastata Pandava Krishna Devata Drishta Shruta Vayadva Drishta Shruta Vayadava Sapuryam Sukha Asase Iti Ukto Dharmarajena Sarvam Tassama Varnayat Yatanubhutam Kramasho Vinayat Kulakshayam.
My uncle, you must have visited Dwaraka. In that holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendant of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of the Lord Krishna. You might have seen them or heard about them. Are they all living happily in their abodes? Thus, being questioned by Maharaja Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced, except the news of the annihilation of the Yadu destiny.
Oh father, did you see or hear about our relatives and friends, devotees of Krishna, the Yadus? Because Vidura knew about the Yadus departure, Krishna's departure. Pandavas don't know about it till now. So Yudhishthira is asking, did you hear about Yadus, how they are faring well? Are they okay? Did you happen to meet them on your pilgrimage? Are they residing happily in Dwarka? When Yudhishthira had thus spoken, Vidura then gradually described everything he had experienced. Vidura talked about all his journey, all his yatra, pilgrimage over last 35 years, except for the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. He did not speak about the destruction of Yadus. Except this one news, all other news were spoken by Vidura. Why he did not tell that? This is one of the important aspects. Kindly pay attention. With this, we will close today. Nanna priyam durvihasam pranam swayam upastitam na vedaya sakaruno dukkitam dukkitan darshitam akshma.
Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see the Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable and unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord.
A merciful person unable to see others suffer should not reveal an inauspicious event arising on its own account which no human can tolerate. A merciful person will never reveal an uncontrollable event that already happened, that is going to happen to the near and dear. Because the understanding is that anyway it will be known to them. If not today, tomorrow it will be known to them. They will anyway suffer for that, having come to know about it tomorrow. Why to add misery to them today itself? At least today they are happy, let them be happy till tomorrow. By nature's its own course, the news will be revealed tomorrow. Let them become unhappy tomorrow onwards. So why should I spoil this one more day in their life? That is the thought process. So Pandavas anyway will come to know eventually about the destruction of the Yadus and departure of Lord Krishna. No one can hide that news. It will come. Let the Pandavas be happy till then. Why to talk about that immediately? Because Pandavas in their entire life, they have gone through misery after misery, constantly misery after misery, misery after misery. So Vidura, knowing this, he does not want to, because since he is there personally, he does not want to see any more misery in the Pandavas. Anyway, it cannot be hidden for a long time. It will be known maybe in the next week. But let the Pandavas be happy till that one time, one more week. This verse explains the scriptural reason why he did not tell them about the disappearance of the Yadus. But what is happening in the modern context? The modern concept is to propagate the bad news again and again, again and again. At least during our childhood, we used to have only the DD news every day in the evening 7 to 7:15 p.m. In the radio, All India Radio, we used to have news morning to afternoon, morning 7 a.m., afternoon 12 o'clock, evening 7 a.m. 5 minutes. That's all. We would get the matter of what is happening outside our village, maybe outside our mandal area, only in the evening 15 minutes. That's all we don't know. But now, hundreds of news channels which are 24/7. The modern concept is to propagate bad news. This is the reason for the people to undergo stress and anxiety.
Yes, Prabhuji. They just tell so many times they will repeat the same news and it will like बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ा चढ़ा के बताएंगे, देख के घबराहट हो जाता है कि क्या.
They analyze the bad news and advertise it for others to analyze it. They themselves analyze it too much and they, okay, you also analyze. They are making money out of others' miserable situation. The person who is going through difficulties in misery, by conveying that information to somebody else, making others misery. These two people are going through misery, and in between person is earning money. When you propagate the bad news, the most miserable person is you only. That person who is in difficulty, anyway, he is supposed to go through misery, is going through misery. Fine. And by knowing it, we are put into unnecessary misery. Anyway, we can't do anything for them. We are unnecessarily going through the misery. Thinking about it, talking about it, etc. The Vedic way of dealing the bad news is any calamity is by the will of the Lord. Accept it, admit it, and do not propagate it. So you may say that not that if you come to know about the difficulty that people are going through, that like tsunami came in many years back, all coastal area got disturbed, and when people came to know, they gave a lot of charities because of which they are all taken care. Okay, from that point of view, it may be good, but that is how much? One day, if you given one news, people who are compassionate, they'll give charity. They were no need to be told about it like continuously throughout 24/7 for a week, for a month, for a year. Not required. Are the government supposed to have a relief fund and they're supposed to take care of it? People giving a charity about it. The main problem is that when a normal person gets disturbed by all these other calamities which are happening around, gets disturbed. Already not interested in spiritual activity. In the disturbance, he will never practice spiritual activities. उनका टाइम पूरा चला गया उसमें, पूरा दिन उसमें चला जाता है. क्रिकेट मैच होगा तो मैच के लिए 4 घंटा प्ले 4 घंटा 8 घंटा गया, बाद में हाईलाइट्स अंदर 4 घंटा गया, उसके बारे में बात करते करते एक हफ्ता पूरा चला गया. 1 week full time is gone in one cricket match. If India Pakistan is playing, India West Indies is playing, India Australia is playing, that's all. One whole week is gone. India England gone. It will not come. Otherwise, in a normal condition, there is no advertisement of all these things. If there is no direct relay of all these things, that 1 week is there with you. Can you practice Bhakti? Can you practice spiritual activities? That is lost. Because of this mass media nowadays, because of this all the wonderful gadgets, we are actually losing our valuable time. That one thing which can never come back is our valuable time, which is lost. So Vidura does not want to spoil their mood. If the Pandavas comes to know about the departure of Lord Krishna, that's all they are done. They cannot live anymore. That Vidura does not want to see them. It is not that he is acting inappropriately. He knows this news cannot be hidden from Pandavas. It will come to them maybe the next week. So let me not create that bad fortune them right now. Simple. When the parents comes to know about something severely intolerable situation for their children, something, there may be a hole in the heart or something like that, will they inform the children immediately? No, they will never tell. They keep that secret in their heart. They tell nothing, Baba, just small pain is coming, we'll go to hospital, we'll be admitted in the hospital, everything will happen nicely, nothing will happen, nothing will happen. Somehow they come, they kind of console the child. Which parents want to see their children suffering? Will the parents, even though the parents understand that this child has this child is expected to die next month, will they tell the child that you are going to die next month? They will never tell. For the whole month, they always try to console the child, saying that nothing will happen to you, nothing will happen to you, nothing will happen to you. They accept the reality, but they can never give that misery to the child. This is the compassionate nature of the parents or elders in any sense. That's how we have to see the Vidura's mood here. He is not trying to tell what is going to happen in the for this in this incident. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
One second. Here, one devotee is asking question. Little louder.
So generally we have heard the name Sutta Hare Krishna. The Lord is impurity, transcendental. So even the people, those who are not a devotee, the Paramatma is there in their heart. So if they are visiting the holy places and even he are sitting in the Ganga and chanting them because Nam is a Chintamani, it is not affected by anything, then why is it not considered fixing or anything? He is not purifying this. So Krishna is there in heart. He is a chanting name, he is also impure, it is transcendental. Then this Ganga is why
Okay, I will give you a logical reasoning for this. We have gone to holy place. Prabhuji is asking that even people in general, when they go to holy place, take holy bath or chant holy name, why they are not getting purified? So my little understanding is, I may not be thoroughly educated on the subject matter. So we have gone to holy place. We have committed 100 sinful activities till now, till today. We have taken holy bath in the Yamuna, then went to take darshan of the lordships, took darshan. So by the effect of taking holy bath, having darshan, chanting holy names, hearing Krishna Katha, whatever sins we have committed till now are purified. Okay, the sinful reactions are purified. We have returned home. Again, start doing sinful activities. Who is responsible?
Actually, my question was just like a Vidura, he was telling he is the personification of pure devotee, so he is purifying the holy place. Because he the Lord is situated in heart. The Lord is situated in everybody's heart. And he is impure.
No, that's for everyone only I'm saying. We have gone to holy place, we have been purified by taking holy bath, hearing Krishna Katha, seeing the deities and eating Krishna Katha. Fine. After coming home the next day, again we start performing sinful activities. Are we not contaminating ourselves again? So the purification, what is happening there is purification of the reactions which are supposed to come in the future, not the mentality. We are still carrying that mentality of performing sin. Unless until that mentality is purified, we are not thoroughly purified. Even I can watch for myself. In spite of practicing bhakti more than a decade, still heart is not completely purified. Still the desires are there. Why things are not happening? We practicing bhakti, but not wholeheartedly, completely. We are practicing as a matter of duty, as a matter of convenience, as a matter of obligation, as a matter of society pressure, something like that. Till the time we don't practice it wholeheartedly, our purification will not be 100%. It is a long way to go. What to speak of people in general, we can look into ourselves only.
My question was exactly because he's asking that Lord is present in everyone's heart. So
हमारे हाथ में भी है, हम भक्ति भी कर रहे हैं, मंदिर में भी रह रहे हैं.
Why Vidura is only he is purifying the tirtha.
That's what we are going to discuss about in the future verse also. Who is Vidura? See him as the pure devotee and see the background of Vidura. Vidura is Yamaraj, none other than Yamaraj only. That comes in the next verses.
My question was this Lord is because Lord he is telling that Lord is situated in heart. So Lord
If that is the case, in India everyone chants Lord's holy name somehow or other, knowingly or unknowingly. Then everyone must be pure devotees. Why everyone is not becoming pure devotees?
My question is Lord is situated in everybody's heart. Lord is impure, it is transcendental.
We discussed na. Lord is sleeping in the heart. We are doing our own things. अपना दुनिया में है. भगवान उनका दुनिया में, हम हमारा दुनिया में है. But only with pure devotee, both are standing facing each other. Both are in communication with each other. आप बात कर रहे हैं क्या परमात्मा से हर दिन सुबह से रात तक? क्यों नहीं? परमात्मा है ना अंदर में, बहुत दूर है. At least I am about 3 meters far, but Paramatma is very close to even not even 1 micron distance.
Your devotees are constantly thinking and remembering Krishna. So that's why he is purified. But we, even though Lord is present, we are not constantly meditating and thinking.
Forget about constantly. At least for those 2 hours while chanting, are we remembering the Lord?
That is struggle.
So that is our condition. Accept it. Accept the reality. Yes,
Prabhuji,
Mataji,
I have one question.
Please, quickly.
Prabhuji, you are telling that bad news should not be revealed. But of course, repetition is definitely bad. It should not be there at all. But giving a perfect and proper news to our near and dear ones also, why it is bad? At least they prepare, like, one day to उनको पता चलने ही वाला है. So I don't know. I feel that the correct thing should be informed. I need little clarification on this subject.
You need to see it in context. So whether you want to become the via medium of transporting the bad news, suppose something is happening in Dwaraka now, some messenger will come from Dwaraka eventually to inform Pandavas. So why would Vidura do that? If you understood the example of mother or father who understood that child is going to die in 2 months, will they ever inform the children about the news?
No,
Even though it is
that
going
is
to
an
happen immediately.
exception. One should not do that because the uska moral toot jayega. That is it. I understand. But okay, maybe
See,
I may understand in later on.
I understood. So I mean, you meant to say that okay, some of our relatives have got heart attack. That news should be informed. So that is okay. So they see now the situation is different. So what kind of relationship we have with our relatives is not same as Yudhishthira Maharaj relationship with Lord Krishna, the Pandavas relationship with Lord Krishna. As soon as the moment Yudhishthira Maharaj understood that Lord Krishna departed, within 1 muhurta time, he left house. He went to Himalayas. Are we in that condition, in that situation? It is not that Vidura is looking for the bodily enjoyment of the Yudhishthira Maharaj. So let him enjoy 5 more days, eating nice food stuff and sleeping on the soft beds. Not like that.
But ultimately, it's going to be revealed, na? Anyway, this way or
That's
that
what
way.
ultimately
In
it is
a
going to be
sugar
revealed.
coated also, if we have to reveal, we have to reveal.
You can reveal tomorrow, no? Why today itself? Ek din to rehne do na peacefully. Vidura, who had seen all the way as long as he was in Hastinapur, he was always constantly seeing the miserable situations of Pandavas only. Now, after 35 years, he came back. After coming back, why he want to see Pandavas again in miserable condition? He want to see the Pandavas in normal condition at least for 1 or 2 days. Is this wrong with him?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
When any marriage function is going on or any auspicious ceremony is going on, if any death note, anything comes in, now that mobile is there, previously it was not there, no? Then the person who received the news will not disclose it till the function is over.
Actually, very good example. Yes. If that news is revealed, the marriage becomes, which is supposed to be auspicious ceremony, becomes a lamentation ceremony. As soon as the marriage is over, as soon as the people take some meals, then the news is revealed. But now see the unfortunate situation because the mobile, WhatsApp, people come to know about everything anytime without any good or bad. That's why we are put into constant anxiety. We can't even do what we are supposed to do peacefully because of this modern mass media. So it's like that. These are such subtle points. Apparently seems to be, what is this? It is very wrong. Violence. Not telling the news is very bad. They should be informed. It's not that. We are not getting it. So Mataji gave correct example actually. In a marriage ceremony, when the news comes, it will not be revealed. If that news is revealed, the marriage is stopped. Is that good activity? So it is like that. So thank you very much. Anyway, we'll continue to discuss about this next week.
Pancharatra Vidya, I wanted to ask Prabhuji.
Okay, 1 second we'll do. So we are done with our class. So devotees can log off. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Mataji, you can stay on.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we'll continue to meet next